welcome back to the Limited Adhesion's Endurance League. We are here at Season 1, Round 2. We're at Spa-Francorchamps. My name's Mark, and joining me in the commentary booth is Steve. Steve, how you doing?
Hello Mark, it's great to be here. I got to watch my P's and Q's this time. I've heard a little rumour that in the LOA that my Fantastic has been taken in vain. And I think I'm going to take him up on the little game. Every time that me and Mark say the words fantastic or indeed, then you take a slug of a drink. We'll see how many get to the end of the video without getting absolutely sloshed.
Indeed.
Well, it's fantastic to be here, Mark, and I'm looking forward to this race at Spa in the wonderful hillsides of Belgium here.
Well, you know what I'm looking forward to, Steve? You just said about minding your P's and Q's, and I'm very interested into how you're going to pronounce your surname if you're minding your P's and Q's.
There you go.
Very well done.
Exactly. So it's Sevi job sorted.
Brilliant. Right, as we can see, flashing up on screen now is the event format. So we'll have a 60-minute practice session, 30 minutes of qualifying, and now this, the main event itself, the 90-minute race. So you see points for the top 15 and best 7 out of the 10 races will count towards your final score. Additional points for pole and fastest lap. Those are the points for both the GTP and the GT3 league. So with more than 30 cars in the grid, 15 in each class, hopefully most people will be scoring points, which is always good to see.
Yeah, it is. It gives people plenty of opportunity to score and climb the ladder on the leaderboard. So yeah, it'll be good.
Indeed it does. And there's a shot. So as we see the endurance standings for the GTP league, we can see. Now let's just talk about Imola Hoogeveen last time out. Absolutely smashed it, getting the pole. He got the win and he got the fastest lap in the GTP class.
Yeah, he had a great race. He dominated from virtually start to finish, if I remember rightly. Yeah, he did. He did a Molarin.
He did indeed. And as we see the team standings, we got both of the Wizards teams up there at the top. Wizards are absolutely smashing it already.
Yeah, I think they did a 1, 2, 3, 4, if I remember it, at Imola. So yeah, that's only to be expected at the moment. But once again, it's this is only the second race, so we've only had one round. Anything can happen in the next 9 races. Oh, 9 races.
Indeed, anything can happen. That's another shot. I'm just trying to get you drunk. And as we see GT3 standings, we've got Oliver Ettridge again with the fastest lap and the win last time out in the GT3 league. And again, yeah, it was quite an eventful race in the GT3 league last time out. Some nice action right up and down the field, to be honest.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of incidents and accidents and people going through the pits several times, and yeah, I'm not expecting as many drive-throughs here at Spa, but yeah, there's going to be incidents and accidents all over the place. So we'll see how the drivers cope with this much longer track. Obviously, Imola was a little bit congested. We have so many cars on there, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. They shouldn't. The GTP shouldn't catch the GT3s as quick. But there is going to be quite a lot of intermingling, and they're going to have to show a little bit of respect and getting around each other.
Indeed. And as we look through the team standings, I think the most important thing to note there is that the Cool Camel Racing Team Green were ahead of the Formulamas. So let's just all take a moment to revel in that.
Yeah. So here we go with the grid.
Molarin.
Yeah, sorry, Mark. You'll go ahead.
Molarin on pole from Stephen Maxwell from Hoogeveen, and was that Don Parker in 4th?
So the third will be Attlerudd, Dan Shaw, Rob Miller and Alex Murphy.
And Zhao Tomei, Gavin Kelly, Sebastian Kolczynski and Dan Hill.
Next set we've got Chris White, followed by Lewis McManaman, Gareth Winslade and Russell Bright. These are the two Ettridge racing there. It's line astern.
Indeed, Russ Bright not getting a quality time in, so we'll watch him storm through the field. And in the GT3 field, we have Ben Crook on pole from Nathan O'Loul, Oliver Ettridge and Jack Haynes on the second row.
Then we have Ben Chalcroft, David Ward, followed by Mike Murphy and Joshua Martinez.
And Rich Meesters, the sole entry for Cool Camel Green this week. Jay Pratt, Danny Chan and Philip Miles in row 6.
Then we've got Paolo Tempera, Matthew Hansel, Kyle Hudson and John Cook.
Clayton Buller, Marek Kishka, James Pepper and Steve Pepper rounding out an all Cool Camel Blue row 10.
Then we have Fabio Oliveira, Simon Norton, Charlie Langridge and David Lachatelier.
Mark Kelly, Graham Bardsley and Dan LaHaye rounding out the grid.
Yeah,
both Graham and Dan there failing to set a qualifying time.
I'm just about to say no qualifying times there.
Of course, with only 15 minutes and quite a long lap, you have to admit, you don't have too many opportunities to set a qualifying lap.
Yeah, 3, 4 if you're very, very lucky.
So as we see the cars rolling down to the start-finish line, I did hear someone in the pits already, not quite sure who that was.
I'm not sure myself, to be honest.
Or whether that sign was just for the safety car going into the pits.
It could be, yes.
I reckon that's probably what it was.
I think you're right. It'd be interesting to see how the GT3s cope this time, because last time when they were at Imola, obviously there was a little bit of confusion at the front. They didn't leave enough gap.
Well, they've gone already. As the GTP field leads us to the green, we are racing at Spa. As we wait, we will just see the GT3 field come through La Source and head down to the start-finish line. There they are.
Fantastic sight
Ben
there. All
Crook
those
maintains
cars.
the lead. A lot of cars indeed, as we see Molarin from Maxwell, from Hoogeveen, from Parker in the GTPs, Crook, O'Loul, Ettridge and Haynes are the top 4 in the GT3 field. As we see the cars now coming down the Kemmel Straight for the first time. Pepper's already had an incident, he's got a meatball flag and will need repairs. Let's see if we can get a replay of that, as we see Parker's dropped quite a way off the Wizards. And he's got another Wizard going up the inside through Pouon. That's Dan Shaw to the inside. Can he? He did make it up the inside. He will have the outside line for the next corner, though. We'll see if he can get the position done. Meanwhile, the GT3 field is battling heavily as they go through No Name Corner and down towards Pouon. As we see, here's a replay of what happened. Was there contact? Oh, that looked odd for James Pepper. I'm not sure if there was a bit of netcode contact there, but certainly wasn't any physical contact. But it's an odd place to suddenly lose the car, so I'm not sure what happened there.
Yeah, I think it was a case of that Merc, the big engine at the front.
We are looking at Maxwell under pressure from Hoogeveen. Meanwhile, in the GT3 field, this is David Lachatelier, the Chandelier, as he is known. And just like that, we have finished the first lap. As we see a replay in the bottom corner, that's Dan Hill trying to get past Kelly, I think that is. Meanwhile, John Cook's putting Clayton Buller under a lot of pressure. And under braking for the chicane. And Clayton Buller keeps that position. John Cook unable to find a way past at the moment. We've got contact at Sebastian Kolzinski. Spinner indeed. We'll have to see if there was any damage. If there was, thankfully he can go straight into the pits, but looking at the track map I can see that he has continued. So now Stephen Maxwell under pressure still from Hoogeveen. Meanwhile, Dan Shaw did manage to get that move done on Parker. Parker, again, has dropped back a little bit from Shaw already.
Yeah, they're starting to put quite a few seconds between themselves and Dom Parker chasing there.
Parker almost starting to come under pressure from Rude there. And here is that battle between Parker and Rude, as we see what looked to have been a string of wizards behind him. And a string of wizards in front of him as well.
Yeah, wizards everywhere. There's almost as many wizards as camels.
There are indeed. I think there are in fact only 3 Wizards teams. I think what doesn't help is that they just seem to be everywhere. And I think it doesn't help that I think that's Rob Miller's livery looks remarkably Wizards-esque.
Yeah.
So here we have Danny Chan on the back of Jay Pratt. I have to admit, Steve, it is wonderful to be looking down this grid of names and seeing names that we don't, well, not that we don't recognise, but that are certainly newer to the limited edition. And so, yeah, to all those drivers, I do want to extend a massive welcome. And it's great to be racing with us, and yeah, it's great to see so many newer names.
Very much. Yeah, I mean, this is the league's grown so much, and we have so many very good drivers in here. And it's literally it's great to have so many people turning up and filling the grid and making it such an entertaining, not only just for the drivers but for obviously for us who the commentators and things like that. So, and please, if we do get your name wrong, let us know so we can rewrite. There's no worse than having somebody saying your name wrong and going, "It's not that, it's this." So please let us know.
Definitely let us know, as we see Dom Parker still under pressure from Rude there. Shaw has sort of scampered away a little bit. I think Shaw now starting to close back up to Hoogeveen, as that gap between Shaw and Parker extends. Meanwhile, Crook still leading in the GT3 field. And oh, we've got a move for second place. That is Hoogeveen up the inside of Maxwell. Maxwell will have the outside line. No, that move's done. So Hoogeveen gets past his sort of Wizards teammate. There are 3 Wizards teams. And, oh, that's Rude going through the grass. He's going very slowly. I'm not sure what happened there, but there's been an incident with Parker. That's what's happened. So that's a shame. I hope we get a replay of that. As we see Lewis McManaman fighting there with Russell Bright. So, if we look at the GT3 field as well, there was a bit of a gap there between... Oh, as we see another replay in the corner of that brilliant overtake by Hoogeveen. Hoogeveen all over the grass, trying to fight for that inside line. But yeah, there's a bit of a gap opening up. The top 3 in the GT3 field are starting to stretch their legs a bit. And there's a little bit of a train forming up for P4, and that's what happened in the GTP field. There was a little bit of contact. Parker, that's a big hit into the wall.
Wow, that's a big one, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of damage there to that car.
And we do get a quick repair in this series, so hopefully Parker will be able to get out fairly quickly. We see there's a nice battle here between Mark Kelly, Charlie Langridge and Simon Norton. So going up the inside through Puon, that was Sebastian Kolczynski fighting with Lewis McManaman. Kolczynski looks like he's got that place. Dom Parker, I'm not quite sure where that car was pointing.
I think he's already been taking slugs.
Hopefully we'll see Parker return to the racetrack before too long. Meanwhile, the battle for 4th still rages on. Jack Haynes from David Ward. Ward unable to find a way past at the moment. And oh, he was starting to become under pressure. I didn't catch who that was that was trying to get past him. As the camera cut to Clayton Buller, sucked up behind Fabio Oliveira, with John Cook right behind him, and yeah, John Cook looking quite racy. So as the GT3s come through, who on once again? This is Matthew Hansel in 14th. Mike Murphy's having a good race. He's up in a 7th position. As Joshua Martinez runs through the grass. And he rejoins just behind Rich Meesters.
I'm not sure there's any contact there.
But Richard pulled a bit of a gap on Philip Miles that he was able to slot into.
Yeah, it was a good recovery there for Martinez. Oh, we have an incident there. Smoke. Oh, cars all over the place.
Oh, that's another car off in the background. Who's that? It's Carl Hudson. Yeah, that wheel does not look. Yeah, that wheel does not look nice.
Be interesting to see what caused the incident.
As the GTPs are starting to make their way through the GT3 field. Russell Bright tucked up behind Lewis McManaman. Indeed, I'm not too sure. Hopefully we'll get another replay of that.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
And that is Murphy going for a spin. And oh, I'm not sure if any other cars were collected in that. That looked like it was down at Blanchemont, and that's a very fast section of the racetrack.
Yeah, it looks like a very bent Porsche as well. J. Pratt's obviously been in the wall at some stage.
And we have an overtake. That is Charlie Langridge going to the inside. He keeps it to the inside round Proxels. And, oh, that was a little bit of contact there. Jay Pratt scampers off ahead. Meanwhile, this battle between McManaman and Bright is raging on again. And Bright gets the position. Meanwhile, the GTPs are going through very quickly. Oh, we've got a spinner. Oh, it wasn't a spinner at first. It is now.
That looked like Mark Kelly.
There are two of them. That did look like Mark Kelly, yeah. I'm not sure what the other car was. Simon Norton, there we go. With a meatball flag needing to come into the pits for repairs. Meanwhile, that's Jay Pratt there, still with that damage to the front end. So, Kelly already had damage.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see a bit further back.
Yeah, so I'm not sure where Kelly got that damage, but he tried to go through Pouon with a lot less rear downforce than he's used to. Lost the car, and unfortunately Simon Norton there being collected. And in all of the drama, look what's happened up front. Maxwell's got back ahead of Hoogeveen and is now fighting with Molarin, the three leaders of the GTP field, right next to each other as Hoogeveen now goes to the inside of Maxwell. They touch wheels as they're trying to get past the GT3. That's Formulama, I think Clayton Buller going slightly wide. And Maxwell really squeezing Hoogeveen and boxes him in behind a GT3. That was brilliant driving there. But now Hoogeveen's going to have a brilliant run down the Camel Straight. Meanwhile, David Ward and that's Haynes fighting for position. GTP's coming through and putting a lap on Steve Pepper. And this has worked out perfectly for Molarin and Hoogeveen and has gone terribly for Maxwell, who's lost 2 seconds in the space of 2 corners. unfortunately, that is just how endurance racing works. Sometimes you get lucky with traffic, sometimes it goes very much against you. So meanwhile, the top three now, well, Ben Crook in the lead of GT3 has got a bit of a gap. Imola and Ettridge are together, and all the top three have got quite a bit of a gap now, 4 seconds back to Ward. Dan Shaw looks like he's starting to close in on the leaders, whether that's traffic impacted or not, we'll keep an eye on.
Come on, Dan.
That's Clayton Buller with a GTP on either side, and yeah, that is an incident. That's Chris White and Kolzinski. Kolzinski hard into the wall. Chris White with no rear wing.
Yeah, that looked as though it was a case of 2 into 1 don't go, as he passed around the outside and the inside of that GT3. Clayton obviously was an innocent bystander and all that, and the two GTPs have come together, and unfortunately one ended up in the wall, and they're both damaged as far as I can see.
Meanwhile, we've got a good fight here between Pepper and Tempera. As we see a replay of that incident previously. Now Pepper was ahead for a while. Tempera did get the lunge done into T1, but looking at that, Pepper's back ahead. So I think Pepper got ahead on exit. As we see a replay in the corner, what's happened here? There's Dan Shaw lapping some GT3s. I think he's losing a bit of time behind them. But he has safely passed them now. Just got the leader to go, and then I'll have a bit of space. And hang on, Shaw's got ahead of Hoogeveen. What's happened to Hoogeveen as we see this Pepper-Tempera battle continuing? Tempera around the outside gets the, or keeps the place, should we say, as they head down to Bruxelles. There was a GTP getting involved. So there's been so much drama. I missed what happened between Hoogeveen and Shaw to put Hoogeveen so far behind. Well, it wouldn't have been between Hoogeveen and Shaw. It would have been Hoogeveen maybe with some lap traffic or something, because he was fighting with Molarin and has now lost 7 seconds or so.
Yeah, he's dropped right the way down at the moment.
And with the GTP traffic, it's advantage Tempera in the battle for 12th place in the GT3s.
I think sometimes with traffic, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Unfortunately, Pepper this time has lost out by maybe a second or two. Once he's out of the draft, it's very difficult to bring it back.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, if Pepper loses sort of a second and a half or so on this lap, he might gain that all back next lap. That's the beauty of endurance racing.
Yeah, it's a long game rather than the sprint.
Indeed, although it certainly feels like a sprint, the amount of action that we've had so far, as we see that Bright getting past Meesters, obviously the different classes, that's a lap down. Oh, that was a tap. That was Kolzinski getting into the back of Meesters. Just giving Meesters a little nudge. I don't think there will be any damage
That'll
from
let
that.
me turn in, Sebastian.
I don't think Rich Meesters was too happy with that little bit of a nudge.
No, I don't think he was, but obviously some of the more egregious incidents will be referred to the stewards, but unfortunately it's just a fact of life that if you've got two wildly different classes of cars, unfortunately, sometimes they're going to get into each other's ways. And yeah, I think it's very hard as a GTP driver to know what the GT3 driver is going to do, and likewise for the GT3s it's very hard to know what the GTP drivers are going to do.
Yeah, I think it's just a case of sticking to your line and trying to get it done and just coexist on the track. A little bit of patience, it goes a long way really as well though.
Yeah, I think it's so hard to be patient, you know, when you can see how much time you're losing to the car ahead or how much the car behind's gaining on you. It's just human nature, just try and want to you know, eke out that last tenth. You see, that's Graham Bartley getting past Dan LaHaye at the end of the Camel Straight. So Hoogeveen's now starting to catch back up to Molarin and Maxwell. Certainly not over for Hoogeveen.
It's not, and he'll be dragging Dan Shaw as
minutes. Indeed, we're only 18 minutes into this race, Steve. Can you believe it?
Wow, 18.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun.
To go. Indeed.
Fantastic.
There's another shot.
That's 2 for you.
Oh, there was a car on the wall. Who was that? Was that Chan? I think Chan did lose a couple of places, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's losing it. He's lost a rear wing as well there.
No, it was...
That's David Ward without a rear wing.
That's David Ward.
Yeah.
So, Meester's now with Philip Miles and Matthew Hansel right behind him. So Philip Miles closed back up to Meester's. That gap was a few laps ago. So yeah, we'll see if Philip Miles can get a nice run down the Camel Straight. See here is Nathan
really
Little.
appreciate that GT3 power.
He's nearing the front of the GT3 field. Crook, though, having an absolutely excellent race. He's just solidly building that gap, as we see. That's Hudson spinning in the Porsche, and will he keep it out of the barrier? No, not quite. So he will have some damage from that.
I think that's what the comment that we heard on stream there was referring to. I don't think he was quite chuffed with the GTP going past him there.
No, I think you might be right, Steve. To see Hill all over the back of Tomei. And Hoogeveen still with Shaw just behind him. So yeah, this is actually working out quite nicely for Shaw. It's obviously qualified P5, I think. Spent a couple of laps getting past Parker, and by the time he did get past Parker, the top three had sort of run away a little bit, but it's given him a bit of a second chance now, as in fact he's starting to go wheel to wheel with Hoogeveen. But yeah, if those two can maybe work together and stop fighting and try and catch back up to the leaders, we might get a four-way fight for the lead. And tell you what, Rob Miller's not too far behind them, so we could have a five-way fight for the lead.
We could indeed, yeah. It doesn't take much for those three to work together and build a head of steam to catch up 3 seconds. It's very easily done.
Indeed. Oh, wouldn't that be brilliant? A five-way fight for the lead.
Not half.
As we see, here's Ettridge fighting with Alul. Nathan Alul on the inside line and keeps that position from Ettridge. There's a little half spin there for Tomei. That will allow Hill to get ahead. I'm not sure if he's going to lose any more places. It doesn't look like he has. He has lost a few seconds, and we'll have Kelly right behind him.
And you'll have tyres that are the temperature of Mount Vesuvius as well.
Indeed. So here's that Hoogeveen Shaw Miller fight. And we'll have a look at their lap times. Yeah, Hoogeveen and Shaw there, quite a bit off the pace. That was a 2:01.5 for both of them. They want to be sort of more in the 2-minute dead. As we see Hill in the pit lane. I'm not sure if that's an early scheduled stop or whether there was a touch between him and Tomei that we missed, and he's getting that fixed. Meanwhile, Miles to the inside of Meesters, not able to find a way past. Meesters making that cool Camel Ferrari as wide as he possibly can. Shaw now leading this trio. And they are dropping back from Maxwell and Molarin. We go back to this fight between Miles and Meesters. Oh, Miles! Looked like it might have been pushed slightly off the track. Hard to tell from that angle, but he couldn't get it slowed down, ran wide, and that's lost him the position to Matthew Hansel.
Yeah, we might just have to wait for a replay to see if there was just enough room on the outside where he was pushed onto the grass. But obviously I wouldn't think that Rich would have done it on purpose. It just trying to cover these and maybe just overcooked it a little bit.
As we see, Miller's now got past Hoogeveen as well. Dan Shaw now starting to run away from these two. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to Hoogeveen. Has he just had a really bad lap, or overcooked his tyres, or what's happened?
It's a possibility, and I think it looks like Alex Murphy's starting to close in on them two as well.
He certainly is. We see Matthew Hansel now taking over from Miles in the pursuit of Meesters. Now we see a replay of Pepper. What's happened to Pepper? Oops, lighting up the rear tyres. I hope he kept it out of the barrier.
Just a little kiss, I think, but at that point he looks as though he's towed back to the pits to get it out of the way. That's a dangerous corner to be sideways and trying to backwards and forwards like a little 3-point turn, so it's better part to just tow and get off the track.
Indeed. Kelly versus Tomei. Tomei goes defensive as they get past Dan LaHaye. Did Kelly make it through as well? Yes, he did. Meanwhile, something's happened to Maxwell because he suddenly lost about 4 seconds, and now Shaw's all over the back of him.
He is, yeah. That's certainly released Molarin.
Get a replay of what happened, but it has indeed, in a nice 7-second gap. So we've now got these 4 cars. So Maxwell, Shaw, Miller, and Hoogeveen all within a couple of seconds of each other as they dart to the inside of the GT3 cars. There we have in the GT3 David Le Chatelier ahead of Charlie Langridge. As we see, that was a car coming into the pits. Was it Clayton Buller? It certainly looked like a Formulama. As we see, Ettridge again trying to attack Nathan Alul. Still not able to get it done. We saw him try that same move a couple of laps ago. We see now Maxwell down the Campbell Straight, Dan Shaw tucked right up behind him. Miller's dropped back slightly. I'm not sure if that was sort of getting caught in traffic or what have you, but yeah, those cars have spread out slightly, and Hoogeveen's disappeared. He's in the pits. So yeah, Shaw now really piling the pressure on Maxwell. Come down towards Pouon. Dan Shaw, he looks like he wants to make a move, but not quite enough room. But we're not even a third of the way into this race, Steve.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's first pit stop, so I would think they'll be taking 2 pit stops each. And that's the first one's done, so they'll start to spread out again a little bit. But it's certainly the 2 classes are very, very intermingled at the moment, so they're going to have to be careful coming through the pack now.
Indeed. I mean, yeah, just look at the track map. We've got, well, a slight gap now on the Kemmel Straight, but other than that, there's just cars everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
blue and
brilliant.
yellow. It is. It's fantastic.
You see Ettridge into the pits. He'll be trying an alternative strategy to get ahead of Alul, maybe pitting a couple of laps earlier. If he gets some clean air to pump a few quick laps in, he might be able to do the undercut. Of course, in these cars especially, you tend to see more the overcut working well. Because certainly after just half an hour, the limiting factor will definitely be fuel. So it's always better to try and run as long as you can, so that then while your competitors are in the pits and they're filling up with fuel and then running out on track with a high fuel heavy car, you can be driving around on nice low fuel, nice warm tyres. It's always best to try and do the overcut if you can, of course, unless you're getting stuck in traffic, which is what is happening here to Maxwell, Shaw and Miller and Steve Pepper. Gosh, I'm not sure what he's thinking. I think he's just trying to get out of the way, I think.
I'm not sure what happened there. I think repairs needed. It looks as though there maybe have been a bit of a hardware failure or something.
Not sure if there was contact maybe, or...
no, I didn't see any contact.
Could have been hardware failure, yeah.
I think the way he speared off towards the left-hand side, it could have been hardware failure. Or maybe grey matter failure.
That's a huge shame. As we see now. So, in all of that chaos, should we say, Dan Shaw is now, well, he was always ahead of Rob Miller, as they, oh gosh, they go one either side of the GT3. That's, reminiscent of, what was it, Spa, what's the famous one that I'm thinking of, Steve? Was it Spa 2000, it was the early 2000s.
Yeah.
You know the one I mean.
I know. Yeah. I once again I can't remember which one it is to say it out loud.
Yeah, you know when they were going down the Kemmel Straight and one going either side. Yeah, you know which one I mean.
Yeah.
Everybody very reminiscent of that. As we see Adler Rood going slightly wide into the bus stop, not able to get it slowed down, and then goes straight into the pit lane.
Yeah, that was very patient of him there, letting the cars go through and then taking the route across the road there.
It was Spa 2000, Steve.
Spa 2000, well done.
Schumacher and Hakkinen.
Oh, of course, yes, got it now. Was that a Googleism?
Yeah, so as no comment, Steve.
Sponsored by.
So as we see, most of the GTP field have come into the pits now. So that leaves just Rob Miller attempting the overcut. Meanwhile, in the GT3 field, again, we've got a few drivers that have come into the pits. A few more have stayed out. So we can see these two, Buller and Pratt, have pitted already. So we'll see, once things settle down, whether they've managed to jump up a few places or whether they have been passed in the pits. So we'll see. So Molarin has come out of the pits ahead of Hoogeveen and Shaw. So Hoogeveen pitted early, so he's managed to do the undercut.
Yes.
Of course, we're still waiting for Miller to pit. And as I say that, he comes into the pits. So there is confirmation that Miller did briefly hold the lead from Molarin. It's now been relinquished. So if we look at the GT3 field, we've got the top six. So Chalkov to Le Chatelier had all stayed out. Now Chalkov, Martinez and Haynes are in the pit lane, as is Hansel, and I imagine Miles and Le Chatelier will also follow them in. Which leaves Ben Crook should retake over the lead. I'd be very surprised if he didn't. So as we watch the track map now, so Miller's in the pits. It's a very long pit lane.
It is.
Of course, we are doing the endurance layout.
Yeah, it's unusually long as the endurance one because you go right the way through the whole pit lane.
Oh no, we've got a penalty for Haynes. A 15-second hold for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Indeed, he is in the pit lane, so he'll probably serve that immediately.
It'd be interesting to see if Miller's managed to stay out in front with that extra lap that he did.
We will see momentarily. I can already see Molarin's going to get past him, as is Hoogeveen. Miller has started moving, so we'll see where he fills out. He's quite a way ahead of Shaw, so I reckon that overcut has worked out quite nicely, because it might take sort of a lap or so just for tyres to warm up and things like that, so he will be a bit slow, but he's got 3 seconds on Shaw, so he should have that place fairly comfortably. Meanwhile, we see Maxwell and Murphy fighting. That's Murphy to the inside. And Maxwell sticks it around the outside. And not quite enough to keep that position, but fair play to Maxwell. Like, to be able to hold it for that long around the outside, that was brilliant.
Yeah, and these two have a history as teammates with Imola, where they made contact and spun each other out. So it'd be interesting to see with them fighting whether they've learnt from that and just back it off to 5-10% just to make sure that they're not making contact and ruining each other's races.
As we see, I believe that was Le Chatelier rejoining the track. This is on board with Kolczynski, trying to get past Rude as they make their way past the GT3 traffic.
That was a very strange engine noise.
It was indeed, yeah, you're right. We saw briefly a clip of Kelly getting past Tomei. And there is, just confirmation of what we already knew. Molarin taking back the lead from Miller in the pits. So there is, see a replay of something. What's happened here? This is Kolczynski. I'm not sure if he's just getting a little bit boxed up. Oh, that's Kolczynski and Atla Rude. Yeah, so GT3 traffic very much influencing that battle. So you see a nice little fight there between Childcraft and Martinez. And that is for 4th in class. So, Steve, who are the big winners and losers in the first round of pit stops?
I certainly think Rob Miller's been one of the biggest winners in the pit stops, actually leapfrogging Dan Shaw. GT3s wise, I think it was fairly stationary. They all seem to sort of like pit at a similar sort of time. And there's nobody really outstanding that made huge gains in that pit stop window. Obviously the top 3 have made a huge break from Martinez, and he's 11.9 seconds down from Ettridge. Oh, there's an incident there.
Matthew Hansel gaining time illegally.
Yeah, that's an
I'm guessing that's not serving a slowdown.
Possibly. But yeah, certainly, I don't think there's much between the top 3, 4 in maybe the 5th, maybe down to 5 in the GTPs, and the same
Come
top
on,
4
guys,
in
passing
the
in the bottom of
GT3. So
Eau
it's
Rouge
really
is just in the wrong.
as the second pit stops roll around as well, how people cope with them.
Indeed. I will say as well, another big winner in the pit stop cycle, I think it's got to be to your Molarin.
Oh, and there we are. That's
also, we see a replay of
Murphy.
a spin. Maxwell and Murphy making contact again. Second time in 2 races.
Oh, do you know? That's a very
that
damaged
is not
car.
a happy-looking GTP.
No, that's more like something out of Down Under the Sea. It's a crabbing.
And Maxwell's got no rear wing. This complex of corners is going to be very interesting for him. As we see, was that Whitslade having to go around the outside onto the grass? As we see, that's repairs needed for Ben Chalcraft. Oh dear, has there been a little touch between them and some wheel damage?
It could be, yeah.
Anyway, Steve, going back to what I was saying, I think Molarin's won massively from this pit stop because he was sort of about 4 or 5 seconds ahead of a big gaggle of cars. But actually now he's 4 or 5 seconds ahead of Hoogeveen only. That gaggle of cars is sort of 10, 15, 20 seconds back.
Yeah, I suppose in that respect, yeah.
Molarin's gained a lot.
There was a replay there of Gareth Winsley just knocking the back end of Ben Chalcraft as he came round. It was an unfortunate incident that I think really there's nothing, you know, when the speed of the GTPs and the GT3s are on the outside, it's just an unfortunate incident, I think, is that.
Yeah, and I think it's worth reminding everyone that the slower cars are advised to stick to their line. It's the job of the faster class to make their way past the slower class safely. However, if you've ever driven one of the faster classes, you'll know that they are pretty quick and you do need to make these snap decisions. So, yeah, if you see a car sort of slightly off their normal racing line, it's so easy to think, oh yes, they're leaving me room. And as you can see, yeah, it's not always that simple. Sometimes it can just be a little mistake from the GT3 driver being slightly off their regular racing line and just sort of sending mixed or incorrect signals to the passing car. So, yeah, it's quite tricky, this multi-class lark.
Yeah, things change in a blink of an eye with these things, don't they?
Indeed, yeah. As we see, Maxwell is now in the pits to get his rear wing fixed. So that is an unscheduled stop. I don't think he can go to the end from here, unfortunately, so he will have to make an extra stop.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually possible. There's not enough fuel to go in the car to, especially for those things, they eat the fuel as they go around.
They eat it? I thought they drank it.
Oh, we have another incident
As
there.
you see David Ward go round, and
again.
he lost his front wing. He lost his front wing and then decided to spin around and lose his rear wing as well, just so his front wing wouldn't get lonely.
Yeah, I think that's 2 incidents for David. That's where he's lost his rear wing, so his pit crew won't be particularly happy. And obviously he won't have a fast repair of the second one neither, so that's going to take him an amount of minutes to put that car right.
Well, I was going to say the same thing with Maxwell. We've not seen where he's emerged, and also Wellington Murphy as well, because we both saw they had to pit for damage, but they've already made a pit stop, so it depends if they used their fast repair on their first pit stop. So I imagine the way that they've been fighting all race, I imagine they may have sort of had some scrapes and things like that may not have affected their pace, but it depends if they use the quick repair for that or not. I'm not sure if they'll have one left over.
Yeah, some people untick it for the first pit stop, make sure that it's not used on that, and then further through the race they'll see whether they need it, and then maybe on the second pit stop or through some sort of incident they will then use it. It's odd for a driver, unless they're actually properly damaged, to use it on the first pit stop.
Yeah, I suppose it's like you said, if sort of they left it on by default.
Yeah.
That's the big question. So we can see that Murphy's rejoined in 14th place, and Maxwell is in 15th.
So it's a way down then.
They are quite a way down, yeah. But the fact that I think they're still on the lead lap, are they? I think they're still on the lead lap, which to me implies that they probably did manage to use their fast repair. So we see drive through for Charlie Langridge for exceeding the instant point limit. Now we've got two of our most colourful cars on the grid, Clayton Buller and John Cook. They're fighting for, is that 13th and 14th? As Rob Miller comes past from the GTP. Nice to see some of the GTPs in something other than the Acura. Because I know that most of the top guys use that, but yeah, nice to see Miller in the Porsche.
Yeah, we've got a couple of BMWs in there as well, haven't we? And I'm not sure if anybody's using the Cadillac in the GTPs this time.
Not sure, keep an eye open for that. Oh, there's a car going wide. Who's that? That's Matthew Ansell. And, got some side-by-side action. Kolzinski versus Rude. They were fighting earlier on. They were trying to get past some GT3 traffic. There is no GT3s to intervene this time. Kolzinski makes the pass up the inside and it looks like he will keep that position into the bus stop.
He's used that time very well as well because he's pulled away as well.
Yes, because it's so easy for someone to pass into the bus stop and then get repassed down the Camel Straight. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that, but he certainly looked like he had a fairly decent gap, although looking at that Delta, it is starting to come down. And, yep. Oh, something's happened to Kolzinski. It's showing as being out of the race. Oh, maybe that was just a transponder error, because it's back to normal now.
Yep.
But yep, Kolzinski has managed to put out, well, a second and a bit on Rude as he drops out again. So I think that might be maybe internet issues, just blinking slightly and throwing off the overlays.
Yeah, that could be a connection issue.
So Miller did come out of the pit sort of 3 or 4 seconds ahead of Dan Shaw, but Dan is, well, he has closed that gap. As we see, Murphy has also closed the gap to Chris White. Chris pitted quite early there on lap 7, so I imagine he'll probably be needing to pit any minute now.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can get to the end as well with pitting so early.
I think that's going to be a stretch.
I'm just wondering whether that was tactical or whether it was forced on him.
I reckon it probably would have been forced to be that early.
Yeah. I don't remember any incidents though with him.
No, neither do I. But either way, we've got Ettridge still crawling all over the back of Alul, but unable to find a way past.
Yeah, that's some effort from Alul to keep Ettridge behind him.
Yeah, Ettridge certainly is no slouch. So, meanwhile, we've got the 2 colourful cars here, Buller and Cook. They're fighting over 11th and 12th. So again, those two have been quite close on track for quite a while, actually. As we see, oh, what happened to White there? A little replay, just locking the rear brake slightly. Down to the bus stop, just getting a little squirrely. Just pausing just to make sure that the coast was clear before setting off. As we go back to this fight for second place, Ettridge versus Alul. So yeah, if we look at the laps that they pitted, Ettridge did pit a lap earlier, but he actually pitted quite early. We saw some of the GT3s go a couple of laps longer.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Alul then pitted the following lap just to sort of to cover from to cover off the undercut.
Yeah, that would probably work.
And while these two still fighting, John Cook just not able to get close enough to Clayton Buller to make a move. He does have a little look to the inside into the bus stop, but yeah, he's not close enough.
These two have closed right up on Oliveira as well.
You are correct. Yeah, they have. So in fact, Clayton Buller is now only sort of 6/10 or so behind. So we'll have a nice slipstream going up through Eau Rouge and Radion. So we'll see. Will Buller be able to apply some pressure on Oliveira?
Sorry about that, Philip.
So we see someone going very wide with that Mark Kelly off in the background. I'm not sure if he was exiting the pits or whether he just got Eau Rouge and Radion very wrong. As we see John Cook to the inside, but not quite close enough to make that move work. Yeah, I think if Buller didn't have the toe, that would have been game over. Well, not game over, that would have been the position for John Cook.
Yeah, definitely. But obviously the two passes are so close to the match.
Bit of a toe there, so we'll see if he can... Yes, that's right. But we saw when they started fighting into Lecum, Clayton Buller did drop back slightly, so we'll see if Buller can sort of close back up again and get a bit more of the toe for next lap, because if not, he will be a little bit vulnerable.
He will, definitely, yeah.
Dan Shaw versus Rob Miller. Shaw to the inside. He's got a bit of overspeed as they break for Lecum. Dan Shaw does have that position.
Yeah, it was so fast through Eau Rouge and Radion then. He was always going to take Rob Miller on the straight down the Camel Straight and into what's that one? What's the corners at the end?
At the end of the Camel Straight.
Yeah,
Lecum.
that's the one. Lecum. I don't forget that one.
So meanwhile, we're still watching this battle between Alul and Ettridge. Ettridge still unable to find a way past. I mean, he's still got a decent chunk of this race left. We've still got about 40 minutes left.
Yeah, it looks like it. Just under 40 minutes.
As we saw, Dan Hill now has made it up to 5th. As we see now Murphy on the back of Hill's teammate, Lewis McMahon. And Miller has got back past Shaw. I'm guessing that was slipstream down through Blanchimont and into the bus stop. And as I say, we get a little replay showing Miller to the outside. So Shaw made him work for it.
He did, but it was an easy pass.
So meanwhile, Murphy has got past McMahon, and Maxwell is next up to try and make his way past. And we are getting close to the pit stop window opening for these guys. Oh, that's Maxwell going a little bit wide. Lewis McMahon going very wide.
You got to be
running
so
through the
careful
gravel.
there.
He does indeed, and to be fair, he managed to save that brilliantly. So yeah, fair play to Lewis there.
Yeah, we've seen that in previous seasons where somebody's hit that bump there, he just destroys the car, throws him in the air, and spits him out the other end.
Yeah, usually into a barrier.
Yeah, or a wall.
So he did well to recover that one. Meanwhile, Cook still behind Buller. Cook running slightly wide there. He was a little late on the brakes, but he'll have a nice run down the straight. This man, however, won't. That is Charlie Langridge with no front wing.
Yeah, very bent.
Yeah, Chalcraft got that position, made it look fairly easy. It's Russell Bright making his way through some GT3 traffic. John Cook still unable to get past Clayton Buller. He looks to the inside yet again, but not able to do anything with it. Now Buller is right tucked up underneath Oliveira's rear wing. So I'll be getting a nice slipstream. And Charlie Langridge has, I think that's another drive-through.
It is.
He's already served one.
It is insult to injury there, unfortunately, for Charlie there.
Yeah, to be fair, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, once you get your first one, all the next ones come a lot quicker. So he's going to have to be extra careful for the last 35 minutes of this race. So Steve, let's talk strategy, because we've got two guys. We've got Buller trying to get past. Oh,
jeez, oof!
That's a big hit.
Big incident there. What caused that?
I'm not sure. I'm going to have to get a replay of that. But yeah, Clayton Buller and Oliveira, they're needing repairs.
I'm not sure whether that was a GTP of Molarin there that caused that. That'd be one for the stewards if he did.
Yes, I was just about to say that'll be sent to the stewards. Well, I was going to say we've got two GT3s that are trying to get past other GT3s. We had that fight between Buller and Cook. I also had the fight towards the front of Alul and Ettridge. But actually, looking at the leaderboard, as we see a replay of what happened, so yeah, that was Molarin going to the inside of Oliveira. Had to take to the runoff. Tapped Oliveira, and yeah, Clayton Buller there getting caught up. Got a feel for him because he was just an innocent bystander and all of that, as was Oliveira, to be honest.
Yeah, your heart goes out to him. Having such a good race as well, with the three of them there, nose to tail, fighting hard, and then unfortunately something like that happens, and I'm lost for words.
And something's happened to Ettridge as well, because he was, as we saw, repeatedly trying to get past Alul, but he's dropped back to 4th and is now about nearly 20 seconds behind Alul.
He is, yeah.
So we're in the pit stop window, but that feels like it's not a big enough gap for Ettridge to avoid a pit stop. So has there been a mistake?
No damage.
I was just listening to the comms there from Lewis McManaman and the Rich Meisters. There's obviously been slight contact there. Yeah, I don't think there is enough time there for a pit stop. It would be a lot longer than that, just 20 seconds. Because obviously you've got to go down the pit lane, make a stop, and then come out the pit lane. So to lose only 20 seconds,
and it is a very slow pit lane.
Else. Yeah, you must have learnt something else.
Yeah, I think looking at how far Miller was ahead, I think he was about 1 minute and 10 seconds ahead or so when he performed the overcut in the first round of pit stops. So yeah, you're probably looking at about, a minute and 20 or so to do a pit stop.
Yeah, something like that.
So we'll see if Ettridge can catch back up then. That's Charlie Langridge still running around without a front wing.
I wonder what the rules are for the pit stops. You know, with the damage, does it actually automatically stops you from the damage to repair it?
So it depends if you've got required repairs or optional repairs. So required repairs, yes, you do have to serve them. You do have to get it fixed, but you must do that within 3 laps. So we've seen Charlie driving around for quite a while now without a front wing, so
Thanks, Fabio.
I don't think that's required to be fixed. Which means, yeah, no, he's free to run around as much as he likes without a front wing. I can't imagine he'll be that quick doing it. So I'm a bit surprised, but yeah, he's perfectly within his rights to refuse to take those repairs.
That's fair enough.
While this fight between the former teammates rages on, Murphy versus Maxwell. Advantage Murphy for the moment. I suppose they are still technically teammates. Both of them drive for the Wizards team. As we see, these two also fighting, Miller and Shaw. So Shaw's caught right up to Miller. He's got past a couple of times. There's been a good scrap between these two. And we see Hoogeveen in the pit lane. He pitted early in the first round of pit stops, and that gave him quite a big jump on the leading cars. So, do you think he'll be able to do it again, Steve? Or is this the wrong move?
I think he's got the ability to do it, so I wouldn't rule it out. Yeah, it's going to be very, very close.
As we see, Meesters is now caught up to the back of Danny Chan. Not close enough at the end of the Carroll Straight to do anything with it. Let's see if he can get past down into the bus stop in half a lap's time as we see Kolczynski dive into the pit lane.
He might be one of the first ones to dive into the pit lane at the moment for the second pits. And Hoogeveen's in there as well.
Yes, he pitted. Yes. So we've got those two, Hoogeveen and Kolczynski, in the pits. So depends on how well the other drivers can save their fuel, because I think Molarin was either 1 or 2 laps later in the first round of pit stops, as was Shaw. Miller was an extra one on top of that.
Yeah.
So we'll see if Miller went a couple of laps longer in the first round. Can he go maybe 4 or 5 laps longer this time?
That was a strong possibility.
We will see in the next couple of minutes. This will be the final pit stop for the majority of the grid. Those that are sort of on their normal pit strategy. Those that have had to pit for repairs may pit once more sort of a little later. You see Meesters not quite close enough to put the pressure on Danny Chan into the bus stop. And Chan pits.
That was terrible, man.
So that releases Meesters.
It'll be interesting to see now how Meesters does on a low fuel compared to Danny Chan going and getting a full tank of fuel and coming out, whether the undercut or the overcut works.
So, yeah, I think that's what we're going to have to look out for. Will the overcut work for Meesters? And how much longer will Meesters be able to go? Because, yeah, we saw Meesters go... Well, in fact, we saw quite a few of the GT3 drivers go an extra sort of couple of laps or so.
Yeah.
Has Meesters been saving that fuel? Just telling us Ferraris just sip the fuel lightly rather than gulp it down.
He's had the opportunity as well, because obviously he's had the tow from Danny Chan for the last 5-6 laps. So, you know, as he's been closing in, he's been able to save a little bit of fuel as well due to the tow.
Yeah, I think you have to sort of consciously save the fuel. It's not good enough to just be in the draft of the car behind, because, you know, if you're still braking in your normal braking markers,
yeah,
you're just going to be later on the throttle, and like, it's not really going to save you that much fuel. You have to sort of consciously utilise the extra speed that you get from the tow, lift off a little bit early.
No,
as we see there, Ettridge with a drive-through. It's an absolute disaster for him. And yeah, unfortunately, that's probably going to be the nail in the coffin for that fight between himself and Alul.
And chances are that will probably give a place back to Rich Meisters and Danny Chan as well. That'll move them up.
You are correct, yeah.
We've got Crook and Alul in the pits. So
we saw Miller in the first round of pit stops managed to run an extra lap longer. He's done the same again. So we've had all of the other front runners come into the pits. So Molarin, Hoogeveen, Shaw in the pits. Miller was able to run that extra lap in the first round of pit stops. He's gonna, well, we know he'll at least do one extra lap. Will he be able to do 2 or 3?
Well, if he won the first time, there's a chance he could do 2 extras on this one.
And more importantly, how much will that gain him? It'll be good to watch him versus Shaw, because they were battling. So they were quite nose to tail before the pit stops. We see Chalcroft now yet to pit for the second time, all over the back of Danny Chan, who has just exited the pits. So we'll be heavy on fuel, probably cold tyres, although they'll be heating up a bit by now. Will Chalcroft be able to get past? We will come back to that fight immediately.
Meisters in the pits as well.
So Meisters in the pits, we'll see where he slots out. Chalcroft did look to the outside. Chan went a bit defensive, so that will cost him time in his battle against Meisters. It's worth Chan bearing in mind that his fight with Chalcroft is largely meaningless, because Chalcroft will have to pit in the next lap or 2. So there's no point going too defensive and losing a load of time.
It does look like Rich Meisters jumped Chan in the pits.
So yep, there's Meisters up ahead. A couple of cars in front, and in fact Tempera's come out ahead of Chan as well.
Yep.
So yeah, looks like Chan will have a look at trying to get past Tempera, especially while he's got cold tyres. But Tempera's placed his car absolutely perfectly. No way through for Chan there. Will Chan get a run? He looks to the inside, but not close enough.
Well, this is fantastic for Rich Meisters as well, because with these two fighting so hard as well, it's going to allow him to just concentrate on what's in front of him and try and scamper off into the distance. The camel scamper. I think it's more of a trot.
Yeah, a trot or maybe a canter.
Canter. Answers on a postcard.
Leave it in the comments.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Yeah, all that algorithm stuff.
Yeah. Give us a thumbs up.
So, 20 minutes to go. As we see a flash of the lights there from Tomei. I think it's probably worth having a bit of a roundup of what's happened, especially in the GTP field. Given that, that's Tempera off.
Whoa!
I think he hit the wall.
That was straight across the track. I'm surprised he didn't hit anybody there.
Indeed. Well, I think he hit the wall quite hard, but we'll see if he's got much damage. So, yeah, as Miles and Letelier pit, as we see Alex Murphy go round, and Maxwell now has a drive-through for instant points, that'll put Meisters up to 4th, depending on where Miles comes out.
Oh, that's the back end disappeared from Stephen Maxwell, I think. Is it? Oh, is it Alex Murphy?
Yeah.
Alex Murphy.
And so, so Meisters has got ahead of Miles. There he is. So Miles tried to perform the overcut, and it worked. It did get him out ahead of Meisters on track, but Meisters was quicker down that Kemmel straight and managed to force that position back into his own hands down into Lake Coombe. So that puts Meisters up to 4th. Absolutely brilliant drive for him.
It is extremely well. And Alex Murphy there with a drive-through.
And again, as we saw in the first round of pit stops, Miller has come out of the pits and he's got a good sort of 4 seconds or so.
He has. We've got a replay there of...
That's what did it for Murphy. No rear wing. Going through Bonchemont. Probably not the ideal level of rear downforce.
I don't think so. He's giving him two extra incident points, so that's where the drive-through comes from. Like I say, going back to Rob Miller, I mean, he's down to just over... He must have made a slight mistake, because he's down to just over 2.5 seconds now. But he's made a... Oh, he's down in 3rd place, is Rob Miller now. Was I seeing things wrong there?
Yeah, we've got Maxwell in the pit lane. I'm not sure where Murphy is, how far down the order he's dropped. Maxwell and Murphy did both have to make another pit stop anyway, but given that they've used their fast repairs already, yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing too much more of them this race. So that is hugely unfortunate for the 2 teammates.
Sorry, man. Sorry.
So first it was Ettridge on the back of Allure, now Martinez is all over the back of Allure. So we've seen how brilliantly Allure can defend in the first sort of 2/3 of this race. He's got 20 minutes to defend from Martinez. Steve, what do you reckon? Can he do it?
Of course he can do it. Keep his nose clean, keep the car on the black stuff, and there's every opportunity to go on and clinch that 2nd place. But obviously, Spa's one of those tracks where everything's, you know, it can all change in a heartbeat. You've got all the multi-class, anything can happen with them, and also we've got the 2 really long straights up the Kemmel Straight, and here on the back straight, just coming up to the bus stop. So yeah, there's opportunities to pass using the slipstream, and yeah, he's going to have to work very hard for it. But obviously he's got 18.5 minutes nearly to hold that position. Well, it's possible, but he's going to have to work very hard for it.
Well, seeing how well he defended against Ettridge, one thing that I'm certain of is that this is going to be an absolutely riveting final quarter of an hour of the race.
It is going to be
Gavin Kelly weaving between the 2 GT3s.
My apologies, Mike. It's going to be a fantastic watch. Get drinking, boys.
Indeed. So, Chalcraft... Was it Chalcraft that we were watching earlier that was fighting with Chan but hadn't pitted?
I think it was, yeah.
There we go.
In he goes.
And just as I say that, in he goes.
Ooh, 3 wide going into that corner. Ooh, I had my eyes shut.
That's brave. Good job you're not driving then.
Very true. Maybe I drive better if I'm a bit eyes shut. Drive by Braille.
So, I think we have our answer. Martinez ahead of Alul.
Yes.
You see Cook needing repairs. So we'll have to see what happened with Cook, because he was having a nice battle with Clayton Buller earlier on in the race. See the nice Uniroyal logo. So yeah, Martinez has done what Ettridge could not and made it past Alul within a couple of laps, to be honest, of closing up to the back of him. So we'll see, can Alul fight back? Will he work better in the slipstream as the car doing the chasing rather than the car being chased, as we see Lewis McManaman picking the wrong side of the GT3 and being forced off onto the grass.
Yeah, a bit of a nibble there at the back end.
Yeah.
Now it'll be interesting to see if Alul gets the slipstream down the Camel Straight and manages to overtake Martinez. Yeah,
so Alul still behind into the bus stop and into La Source, but now they'll have this whopping great big straight, so we'll see how close he can get and if he can make a move. So there's John Cook in the replay. Let's see what happened to him. Oh, he's going very slowly and has stopped.
It's very odd. I wonder if he's going to
I think I know what it is. Well, I'm just wondering. To be honest, Steve, I'm wondering. We've been saying "indeed" so much. Has he just finished his drink? Has he had to pull over and go and get another one?
He's at the end of his bottle. Good lad, good effort. I think it's more the fact that he run out of juice, to be honest, and then he'd have to tow back to the pits. Good effort though.
And my lawyers have advised me to warn everyone watching this to please do not drink and drive, especially not when you're doing sim racing, because you don't want to spill it on your PC. It's very expensive.
Very much.
Right, so Alul didn't manage to get past Martinez, but he is just 0.3 of a second behind. So yeah, we'll keep watching that. We've got another long straight coming up. Can he get past there? As we see in the replay, what's happened to Hill? Hill just losing the rear end, and he's gone round. Can he keep it out the wall? Yes, he can. And he managed not to get collected by any other car, which is brilliant. And here is Alul going to the inside, going to the outside. That is the inside for Blanchemont. Is he alongside enough? I don't think he is. He's going to have to tuck in behind Martinez.
That's a very wide Audi.
Into the bus stop. It is, yeah. Not close enough to try and move into the chicane. He's found himself in the same position that he was last lap, but maybe a little bit closer. Meanwhile, this is the battle for 10th place. Graham Bardsley ahead of Le Chatelier.
Fantastic livery, that.
Indeed. Hats off to whoever created that. So Alul now is 0.3 of a second. Will that gap come down? Looking at the timing board, it's coming down slightly. I think he might just about have a run. He's going to have to be very late on the brakes here. Will we see him dive to the inside? Not quite.
No, he wasn't close enough.
Yeah, he got that gap down to about 0.2 of a second or so, but I'm not sure if he's maybe running a little bit more wing, perhaps?
Possibly.
Or maybe the slipstream effect just isn't as strong here.
Maybe the Audi just has that little bit more top speed down the straight, rather than the Porsche.
Could be that as well. We will never know. So 12 minutes left. I think now that all of the pit stops are out of the way, I think it's probably just worth running down the order quickly. So in GTP, we've got Molarin from Hoogeveen, from Miller, Shaw and Tomei up there in 5th. And Steve, why don't you talk us through GT3?
Yeah, GT3 we've got Crook out front by about 6.5 seconds, followed by Martinez, O'Loul. Mises in a fantastic 4th place there with a cool camel. Miles, Danny Chan, Tempera, Pratt, Ettridge and Barsley in 10th.
And so O'Loul's got ahead of Martinez. What's happened to... Oh, I think Martinez was just blinking. And Alex Murphy there with another meatball flag. Needing yet more repairs. He's had a very drama-filled race.
I don't think we'll see him back out on track, to be honest, after that. It's 11 minutes left, and if he's getting a meatball at that sort of time, he might get out, but it's going to be very, very touch and go.
I'll be very surprised. Meanwhile, we have seen Steve Maxwell back out on track, and actually, to be honest, still in 12th. Which is remarkable for the amount of drama that he's had in his race. To be fighting McManaman for 4th. Because that's...
My apologies, Matt. Philip Miles with the drive-through there, so he's just popped into the pits. So that's going to drop him all the way down as well.
It's a shame for Philip Miles. Meanwhile, these two GTPs, they will be praying that, yes, they can indeed get ahead of that Ferrari before Eau Rouge. Maxwell breathing all down the back of McManaman. And Kelly with a drive through for 2 minutes and points. McManaman not getting through that Malmedy perfectly. There was a little wiggle at the rear end. It looked like Maxwell might have had a chance, but no way through at the moment. Nice to see that Langridge has indeed now got a front wing back.
Yeah.
I think he'll have to say thank you to his mechanics for that, as we see Maxwell to the inside at Pouon. That'll put him on the outside for Piff Paff, but he makes the move. So yeah,
Sorry,
well done to
Gareth,
Maxwell.
you coming there, mate?
Clayton Butler getting on the radio. I didn't quite catch what he said.
No, I wasn't sure, to be honest.
If there's been any action, we will see it. O'Loul now still just behind Martinez. And will that GTP play into his hands? Because he looks quite close. He's a little bit too far away again. He wants to be sort of 2/10 or so behind, coming out that first corner, La Source. So yeah, I think 6/10 is going to be a bit too far back to make a move unless he gets an absolutely amazing run through Eau Rouge, which it doesn't look like he's got. He's got a bit of a run, but yeah, I think the straight's going to be just too short.
Yeah, I think you need to be within about 0.3 of a second coming over Radion to have any chance of even pulling alongside down the Camel Straight.
Well, yeah, we've seen that from La Source all the way down to Lecombe, the past few laps, O'Loul's only been gaining sort of 0.2 in slipstream.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be tough. He has to be really close going into La Source.
Yeah, he's got to be tucked up right underneath his rear wing as they go through Eau Rouge and up over Radion.
But it's still a long race. We could have GTP traffic playing a part,
a huge
and indeed,
incident.
that's a big hit for Chris White. And, well, yeah, no surprise that he does need some repairs doing to that car.
I think that was no wheels on my wagon.
Shaw's actually dropped back a little bit from Miller. That's the fight for the last podium place in the GTP. Miller was about 4 seconds or so ahead after the second pit stops. And unlike in the middle stint of this race, Shaw's not been able to close that gap. So Alul for yet another lap, still unable to find a way past Martinez. And yeah, looking at the delta, he's not close enough again. He's been sort of 4 or 5 tenths back coming out of the source and not been able to do it.
I think Martinez has started to slightly ease away from him at the moment.
It's so close though. We're talking sort of a half a tenth to a tenth a lap.
Yeah, and now he'll be getting tow from the car in front of him as well, which will help him defend that position.
It will, yeah. Mister's doing very well there in 4th in the GT3 class.
He is
He's
very
an
well.
absolutely amazing race.
Yeah, fantastic race.
As we see Kelly now on the back of Kolczynski. Lewis McManaman has a drive-through penalty.
Would you believe we've just got 5 minutes to go?
I know, where's the race gone?
There's like 2, maybe 3 laps to go.
Probably, yeah, the GTPs will do a lap in 2 minutes.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's probably 3 laps to the end, depending on whereabouts the leader is. He's just crossed the start-finish line, so yeah, 3 laps to go.
Yeah, 3 laps.
So, Kelly has just 3 laps to find a way past Kolczynski. Martinez only has to defend for 3 more laps.
Martinez is out. Unless that's blinking, he's showing he's out.
Yeah, that's what it's saying. But he has been blinking a little bit. So
it's a long blink.
This could
hand 3rd to Meisters.
Yeah, it is. I think it's too long to be a blink now. And yeah, Martinez is showing us out. Meisters up in 3rd. Has there been an incident or something that we've missed?
I've no idea. I'll hopefully get a replay if there is one. But he's definitely showing us out, and that's final. He's dropping like a stone through the field now.
Heartbreak then for Martinez. Hitting issues with 3 laps to go. But what a race for Meisters, getting up onto the podium.
Yeah, it's a fantastic result there for Rich. He's well deserved, and yeah, as long as he can keep it pointing in the right direction, he's looking for a really, really good result here.
Gavin Kelly now, still all over the back of Kolczynski. He's sort of stalled a little bit at that sort of 8 tenths or so per second. Not able to get really any closer than that. We've got Tempera in the pit lane as well, in the GT3. I think just looking back to Meesters, I think he was sort of 7th or 8th or so just before the final pit stop. Yeah, this last stint for him, as we see a drive-through penalty for Tempera for an unsafe pit exit. So yeah, what a final stint there for Meesters.
It's been a mega drive. This certainly, like I say, to actually pass when he went past Danny Chan, when he overcut him on the last pit stop, he's literally never looked back. Obviously, he's 38 seconds behind the top two, but he's kept it very, very steady and played the long game, and it's worked extremely well for him.
Yeah, definitely. So just a minute left, and so I imagine Molarin will see the white flag this time round. He's got a nice 3-second gap to Hoogeveen. That gap's come down ever so slightly, but I don't think Molarin's going to be too worried about that. And he's got a nice clear patch of road ahead of him. Meanwhile, Kelly... What's happened to Kelly? Because Kelly was in the back of Kolzinski, and now Tomei's got in between them.
He has. He must have had an incident or off. I didn't see any drive-throughs like that for anybody.
No, he's only dropped sort of a couple of seconds back from Kolzinski, but yeah, that was very opportunistic from Tomei. I wonder if there was like maybe a slight mistake or something that just allowed Tomei to pounce.
Possibly.
There with GT3s entering the bus stop, which is not ideal, and yeah, that's cost him another few tenths. So on to what will be the final lap for these guys then.
The white flag's being waved.
The leader. Yes, the leader's coming through Stavolo now. And here is our GT3 leader on his final lap. He's got a huge 10-second gap to the car behind, which is Nathan Alul. There is the checkered flag being waved, and that man there, Molarin, will see it first. So well done to Chur. Absolutely brilliant drive, and pretty much from start to finish as well, other than pit stops. Ettridge getting a drive-through right at the end for too many instant points, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, about a 35-second penalty on a drive-through like that.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not sure what it converts to if you don't manage to serve it in time.
Hey, Rich, and that last
so that
pit
would drop
stop,
him
did
down
you kick tires?
to just behind Philip Miles, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Gotcha, you just killed me on that lap that I came in then.
I reckon you're right. So Crook now... That is Crook just coming through Piff Paff. I do like that name, Piff Paff. No, that wasn't Piff Paff, that was Campus. We've got one straight to go. And a couple of corners. But yeah, so I think our two leaders for this race, Molarin and Crook, have both had such sort of almost quiet, anonymous races. Molarin had a little bit of a fight sort of towards the start of the race, but they've all just sort of put their heads down, charged off from pole position,
Are you done
and not
racing,
looked
sir?
back.
Once they broke the toe, yeah, they were away and clear, and they've never looked back. So, yeah, a great race for both winners there. Yeah, it's really interesting to see if the pack can catch them in the next few races.
And what about this man right here, Rich Meesters?
No, we're
Starting
but I
ninth
think
on the
he's going
grid,
to cool
made
down
up
lap.
6 positions. I think he made up pretty much all 6 of those positions in the last sort of half hour or so.
I think he did, yeah.
So yeah, brilliant drive for Rich there. Getting a well-deserved podium.
Yeah, fantastic result. Well deserved.
There you go, Steve, you're absolutely right. 35-second penalty for Ettridge and Murphy as well.
Yes.
So there we have it. We have our top 3 in the race. Podium for the GTPs. Molarin from Hoogeveen from Rob Miller. And we see Stephen Maxwell credited with the fastest lap in the GTP field.
And as we look at the
Ben
GT3s, yeah, Ben Crook taking the win there with the fastest lap also, followed by Nathan O'Loughlin. Rich Meesters rounding out the podium.
Now, I think with the top 15 scoring points in each, so points go down to Oliveira in the GT3s and down to Murphy in the GTPs. So yeah, I think most of the GTP field are scoring points there. About half the GT3 field scoring points.
Yeah, it's nice to see so many cars on track, to be honest.
It is, yeah, we've had a very full grid. It's been absolutely brilliant. As we see, there are the penalties, so Molarin there losing his win.
Wow,
So
that's a big result.
That's huge. So Molarin losing the win for that incident. We see a few more incidents there, but yeah, so that would promote Hoogeveen to the win. So it'd be Hoogeveen from Miller from Shaw is our podium.
Yep, that's a big turnaround.
So Hoogeveen now with 102 points. So that's 2 wins from 2. Yeah, that's certainly changed things up at the top, because I think before that would have been them pretty much equal on points, wouldn't it?
Yeah, fairly much, if not Molarin just slightly in front.
We'll wait to see what's happened in the GT3 standings.
Yeah, GT3s as they stand now.
Oh no, jumping the gun a bit. So we've got teams first for the GTP. So Black Sapphire extending their advantage. Of course, the penalty not having as big an impact on that championship because it took the win from one driver and gave it to another driver, both in the same team. Yeah, it's certainly looking like it's going to be a fight between those two for the championship overall.
Definitely.
So Steve, why don't you take us through GT3s?
Yeah, GT3s. Here we have Ben Crook with, I think, 2 wins now, 95 points. Oliver Ettridge with 61, Jay Pratt 50, Nathan O'Loughlin with 42, and Rich Meesters now moving at 40 points. Mike Murphy at 35, Danny Cham 30, we've got Chalcroft 27, Chatelier 25, then we have Graham Barsley there in 11, 25 points also, Stephen Green in 15, David Gordon and Mr. Buller on 7 points. Philip Miles 6, Matthew Mansell, these went too quickly now for me. And obviously we got the minor points there with Langridge, Pepper over there, and Pepper, Graf, LaHaye, all these on 0 points. Mark Innes, Carl Hudson, McCann, Kelly, Matt Kelly there, and Jack Hayes and Jake Weaver, all on 0 points at present. There's that many drives I can't get through them quick enough. GT3 teams, Risky Racing out front with 76 points, JPR Sports on 50, Cool Camel Green 40, thanks to Rich Meester's efforts there. Minardi Sim Sports 33, Revolution E Sports Echo 30, Live Sim Racing 25 as is Revolution E Racing, and the rest go down with Speed Eagles GT3 6, Stupid Agori 2 points, and the rest on 1, and the bottom team on the 0.
So, up next we have Watkins Glen. I'll follow in a few weeks' time.
Yeah,
and yeah, some big races coming up. I'm looking forward to Le Mans, Sebring, Daytona. There's some good races coming up.
There's some fantastic races. Yeah, there's great tracks there as well, like you say, Watkins Glen, the little French town, Fuji I'm not so bothered about. Sebring, another classic. Road Atlanta's always very, very impressive, and Daytona, as you say, yeah, there's some really, really good races coming back up.
There certainly are. Alright, coming up on the screen now, and in the description are the links to our Discord and our socials, so if you want to come racing with us, or just want to come out and come and sort of say hi, yeah, come and say hello. Click the link in the description. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. My name's Mark, and joining me has been Steve.
Yeah, thanks very much. It's been brilliant to be here again, and I look forward to the next time at Watkins Glen. Hope you can join us there.
Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.
Good night. Bye.